Hello everyone, welcome to the course Disability Studies in India, Historical, Social and Cultural Perspectives. So we are talking about disability, impairment and cyborg, right? And we have reached to the fourth lecture of this module and where I am going to talk about cyborgs and disability, rethinking humanity and technology, right? In the previous lecture, as you noticed, that I am discussing. In fact, I told you that how Donna Haraway is talking about that the capacity of human beings are enhanced, right? I discussed that the concept of a norm and ability is also under the threat. What I mean by this under the threat, that it's not like the concept of norm has evaporated, is that it has got new meaning and it is more fluid than anything else now. You cannot say, obviously you can never say, it was always ideal expectations from the people to perform in a particular way. But now since we have got this, the cyborgian body, you have reached to the new stage of ability. And that's why if you see, they are talking about the superhuman, right? I'm sure that there are n number of Netflix series available now where you see that there is a series, Marvel series, there are many movies, there are many like Terminator and all be discussed. They all are talking about Superman, superhuman. And the point is that it is not only a science fiction anymore. Okay, this is just in a movies. This is only in a films. Now you can see in your everyday lives. Like cochlear implants I was talking about, BCIs, brain-computer interface I was talking about, right? So what are they doing? They are doing something extraordinary. They are doing something which is not normal. They are doing something which was thought as if impossible, now it has become possible, right? Something that you never imagined, something that you are just visualized, something that you just thought only possible in movies, but now you can see that it's now happening in your everyday lives. Second proposition is, when we are talking about it, obviously that the boundary between ability, disability, human, machine, nature, culture, that all have been blurred. Right? The post-humanism, what it did? Post-humanism subverted anthropocentric approach. There is nothing called human center as well. How is the safe to be seen in the European civilization? There is a center, God is in the center, then human, and now it's just not centered, it's a machine maybe, or anything. In fact, with the help of technologies, animals are performing like a human. Machines are performing like a human. In fact, sometimes better than human. How do you look at this work ethics, the culture of ethics, or the politics that's happening? Like the employment of a robot is enhanced humans. How do you look at this entire job market now? How are you going to, in fact, let me ask you a question. How are you going to redefine the discourse of humanity, right? That's the title I'm talking about, Rethinking Humanity and Technology. How are you going to talk about it now? How will you think about humanity, right? Where there is no emotions. Emotions are also structured. Okay, let me give you a simple example. I can write a poetry which will express myself and make your heart melt, right? And you will feel so emotional deeply. Oh, wow, what a nice thinking he has for me. Such expression, such emotions he has for me. right? And one later day, you found that all the poems that I wrote for you is written from ChatGPT. I just clicked the button and it created a poetry full of emotions because it's just about the language. It said the language in such a way as if it's a wonderful poetry written ever. And you got deeply indulged in such a thinking that I have written for you. I faked it and you got it. How are you going to look at this idea of humanity where there's no emotions involved now? No feeling, no, like all the meaning of emotions and feeling and relationship, thinking about each other has changed. It has modified itself. It has taken a reshape. That is all possible because of the technology. And I wish you could read more on the algorithm of artificial intelligence. You will see how it is programmed, right? How it is channelized. You will not believe, and what you are seeing is just like tip of the iceberg. In coming 20 to 30 years, the society will change in such a way that this very question will remain irrelevant. Equality, humanity, freedom, autonomy, these questions will remain irrelevant. Just wait for 2 or 3 decades. That's why I'm saying that this is a very important discussion in relation to people with disabilities, right? It has a both sides, like positive as well as negative. Positive in a sense that they will have ample opportunities in terms of accessibility to technologies where they can enhance their capacity and they will feel normal or they will become part of the society, so on and so forth. But let's see. But so negative in the sense that it will constantly strengthen the discourse of the norm. It's not that everyone will get the opportunity. It will keep re-emerging. It will keep re-emerging. And due to that, there will be a race to behave normal. And the moment you reach over there, normal idea of norm has gone back, has taken a new shape, new identity, new thinking. Then how will you do that? So this is point I'm making, that we have to rethink about humanity and technologies. Right? Look at the first slide, please. So in the first slide, what I'm talking about, that how the notion of the cyborg, right? How the notion of a cyborg raises ethical consideration in terms of enhancement versus rehabilitation. That is an important question, right? Whether it is enhancement or rehabilitation. Rehabilitation aims to restore lost or diminished function, while enhancement seeks to augment existing abilities. Right? Look at this. Rehabilitation aims to restore lost or diminished function. Enhancement seeks to augment existing ability. So in disability studies, the cyborg challenges the assumption that technological interventions should always strive to normalize disabled bodies. Instead, there is an argument for the right to choose enhancement that do not conform to the standard norm, but allow individuals to express their identities in a way that feel authentic to them. That feel authentic to them. I mean, how is it possible? I mean, for me, it's really difficult. Like, look at this. What is a rehabilitation? Is a medical model where is again trying to fix your problems, right? It tries to fix your problem. It tries to suggest that, okay, so there is a problem in your body, let's take a medical intervention, let's do with the medical intervention some help, and your body will be restored. You will again become normal, right? So rehabilitation is all medical institution, the way it operates, it makes you feel, right? That is how it works. Rehabilitation model. But Cyborg's job is enhancement. What does enhancement is? Enhancing your capabilities, enhancing your things. But how many of us will deny the opportunity if we get to enhance our capacity? Because we all have a desire which is created by multiple ways to look like a normal. You are getting my point? So when I'm saying this, it becomes not clear whether, to what extent we seek the help of cyborg or machine to enhance your capacity so that we do not conform to the norm. So that we do not conform to the norm. That's the point. So it's not clear. It's not there. So one side you are saying that you will authenticate. Like how will you authenticate? How can you do this? So it has a risk. It posits a risk of conforming to the norm. It posits a risk of conforming to the norm. And that is exactly what Cyborg does. It does not only dismantle the boundaries, challenges the conventional understanding, but at the same time allows you to, or appropriates your body to the new normative structure. That's a critique of Cyborg from disability perspectives, right? That through the cochlear implants, through the brain-computer interface, right? With this, you are produced as a new normal, right? So norm is still there, and it gets strengthened day by day, gradually. So it becomes really difficult to challenge the concept of a norm. It looks like you are challenging, but you are getting appropriated to the concept of a norm, right? So this is an important point that one should not miss it. Look at the next slide, please. So when we come to the next slide, what we notice here, that development of bionic limbs with superhuman capabilities such as enhanced strength, dexterity, blurs the boundary between rehabilitation and enhancement, right? Because when you are using the bionic limbs, what it does, it enhances your capabilities. In that case, you are using this for rehabilitation, but you are basically enhancing the strength. That's why it says that blurring the boundaries between rehabilitation and enhancement. Should individuals be limited to prosthetics that only mimic natural functionally, or should they be allowed to exceed biological constraint? That's an important question, right? It can, you can stop the video for a second, you can read this question and again come back with some answers, or think what the question is asking you to reflect upon. Should individuals be limited to prosthetics that only mimic natural functionality, or should they be allowed to exceed biological constraint, right? This question touches on the broader issue of bodily autonomy. This issue is more on a concern in both disability studies or cyborg theory. When I will, in the last module, when I will be talking about emerging new trends, then I will be talking about research possibilities, research prospects in different domains. So one is what I am talking about, that bodily autonomy, which means that is a core concern in both, either we are talking about disability studies or cyborg theory. So the notion of a cyborg upholds the freedom to modify one's body as a fundamental right, regardless of whether those modifications aim for functionality or enhancement. Right? See, these are the very small questions, right? Functionality, enhancement, right? I mean, where will you stop that this is not enhancement, this is just a functionality? Do you have a clear-cut definition or division where you will ask the people, no, now onwards you are enhancing your capacity, don't do that. It's just about the functionality, not about the enhancement. In fact, the idea of enhancement is masked under the idea of functionality. This is a conflict. This is a contradiction. That is a conflict, that's a contradiction that we need to talk about, that we need to discuss. Functionality and enhancement, they two are not different concept, but rather they go together, right? Functionality means enhancement. So when we are taking the help of cyborgs, we are not only extending our functionality, as well as we are also enhancing our capacity, right? And that's the entire purpose. The entire purpose of you taking the help of medical science is to enhance. So how can you stop it by saying that this is not what it is for, right? So it's not possible. So that's why I'm just asking you to think on these things, right? So autonomy, like your job is to ensure autonomy, right? Like basically you are saying I'm becoming autonomous with the help of machine. But again there's a question, you are getting slave, you are becoming slave to the machines or technologies. How can you say you are autonomous, you have got the freedom? The one side you say you are free to do what you want. No, you are subjected to machine, you are subjected to technologies. You are nothing without the help of machines and technologies. If that is the case, how are you going to redefine yourself? How are you going to redefine your identity? How are you going to redefine the very notion of autonomy? That's a question I'm posing. All right. So think about it. Let's go to the next slide, please. So the next slide, what we see, one of the most transformative aspect of the cyborg, right? In disability studies, it's a potential to reshape social perception of disability. That's true, right? That's true. That has potentiality to reshape social perception of disability, right? Like as I said, like obviously I don't mean the idea of super grip, but I'm referring to the notion of strengthening your capacity by saying that, okay, people will start giving respect. People will not be able to see that you cannot hear. People will not be able to know that you cannot walk, right? So this is obviously changing, and you can go to the picnic, you can go to the tour, you can perform, you can access the building infrastructure which is inaccessible for people with disabilities, right? So by embracing technology as a means of reshaping identity, the cyborg subverts the stigma traditionally associated with assistive devices. For example, a wheelchair is often seen as a marker of limitation, but if reconceived as a high-tech mobility device, it can be a source of empowerment and pride, right? Wheelchair, which is seen as a marker of limitations, if reconceived as a high-tech mobility device, it can be a source of empowerment and pride. So this shift is basically evident in the popularity of Paralympic Games, where athletes using advanced prosthetics and wheelchair demonstrate feat of strength and agility that challenge conventional views of disability, right? So this cyborg also compels society to rethink the value placed on natural body, right? In a world where technologies such as exoskeletons, look at it again, where technologies such as exoskeletons and brain-computer interfaces are becoming increasingly viable, that the notion that a body must be whole or undamaged to be considered fully human is rendered obsolete. A cyborg technology evolve that may facilitate a society that views disability not as a condition to be hidden or overcome, but as a unique facet of human diversity, right? So cyborg technology, as it evolves, it may facilitate a society that views disability not as a condition to be hidden or overcome, but as a unique face of human diversity. That's the point I was making. So the 2 points that had to be noted in discourse of a cyborg in relation to people with disability. So the 1 point is that it has potentiality to change the perception, the way people view disability, right? And the second is that it has potentiality to accept and celebrate the differences. For example, when you are using wheelchairs, right? So your capacity has been strengthened. But since it is a marker of a limitations, but if you enhance its capacity, you will see people using wheelchairs so often, right? Let's say still there's a problem in accessing wheelchair, but I promise you that if we bring new devices, if we enhance wheelchair, we put more machines over there, so you will see more often people are using wheelchairs. Let's say, for example, they use car, they use bike, they use cycles to move around, and the day it will also enhance, people will start using wheelchairs as well. Now you see that on that particular day, the people who use wheelchair will not be considered as a disabled, because everyone is using wheelchair, and the moment people started using it so often, it has become normal. It will not carry stigma anymore. It will not be a disgrace anymore. So that's a point I am trying to highlight, right? So how cyborg has capacity for doing both, it depends how critically we think the uses of it. If we will not control it the way we want, and if we let it function the way it is, then obviously it will go beyond what we are imagining. Because a lot of thinkers has already warned us that we should be extremely careful with the uses of machines, technologies in our everyday lives. For example, we also discussed the issue of privacy, right? What happens? You carry the mobile phone, right? So people can know where you are. People can know what you watch. People can know what you want to filter. People can know what you want to buy. How does it happen? How people started knowing what you are interested in, right? So this is possible because of the technology, right? This is possible because of technology, and what it has done, it has infiltrated in your privacy. It has infiltrated in your privacy. You are surrounded by the machines, and so that people will be able to know what you do, what you do not do, where you go, what you work, what you feel, what you think, what you desire. Imagine. I am not supposed to talk to you, but I can let you know what you desire, what you feel, what you think, what you want, what you don't want. So the privacy, the idea of privacy, which was so often discussed, is not a discussion anymore, because there's no point of talking about privacy in today's society, because it's impossible to save it. All right, let's go to the next slide, please. So the cyborg, as a hybrid of human and machine, offers a compelling vision for the future of disability studies. By transcending traditional distinction between ability and disability, natural and artificial, the cyborg presents a new model of embodiment, which is fluid, adaptable, inclusive. So in embracing the cyborg, we can foster a society that celebrates technological augmentation as valid expression of identity rather than stigmatizing them as marker of a difference. The cyborg is not merely a futuristic fantasy, but powerful tool for rethinking what it means to be human in a world where technology and biology are increasingly intertwined. Right? This is a point where powerful tool for rethinking what it means to be human in a world where technology and biology are increasingly intertwined. As advances in biomedical engineering and artificial intelligence continue to reshape the boundaries of the human body, the figure of cyborg challenges us to reimagine disability, not as a deviation from the norm, but as an integral part of the diverse spectrum of human experience. So in doing so, the cyborg provides a hopeful framework for inclusive future where all bodies, whether organic, synthetic, or somewhere in between, are equally valued. All right. So to end my lecture, in conclusion, I would like to say that it depends how are we using technologies, but it has opened up the possibilities that either it's a synthetic body, either it's a machine body, it is a cyborgian body, either it's an organic body, it is a natural body. All kind of a body will be treated equally, because it is talking about another side of discussion is they are talking about the celebration of a difference. All right. So I touched upon both the points, that how at one side it is trying to universalize, and another side how it has potentiality to celebrate the differences. All right. So with this, I would like to end my lecture. Thank you so much for your patient listening. See you again. Take care. Bye-bye.